Hello and welcome to Racing 1918 everyone. Making a video today because I think a ball stood up yesterday. Basically I had the headphones attached to the computer. Long and short of it is I've been made aware and I've seen that the video I made yesterday, a lot of it, unless you're on a PC, is mute for a better word. Um, well, it was an 18-minute video of yapping, basically, but I'm going to go through it. I'm going to touch on it. Some people have been able to hear it if you're watching on a PC. If you're on a mobile, you can't hear it. I'm going to touch on that. Going to look ahead to the game tomorrow. And yeah, well, take it as it comes. I want to also give a shout out to Joe Wayman. Just Joe Leeds, long time subscriber to Joe, member of the channel. Um, he gave me a shout out on the show. Very much appreciated. So anybody that does watch, wants to come across, likes, comment, subscribe, you know what to do. Wherever the buttons are, up, down, wherever, hit them. Don't like me, don't watch me. You like me, watch me. If you don't like me and you want to comment and have a row with me, 100% like, comment, subscribe, have a row. It is what it is. Want to touch back on yesterday. Thank God, thank fuck the football's back. That's all I want to say. I have the international football break is an absolute mess. It pisses me off. It's boring. Um, I don't want to watch Andorra get pumped 17-0 by Brazil or Guatemala playing bloody Italy, and it's World Cups, European Championships. Yes, that's good. The Nations League's a pile of pish, that type of thing. I just don't like watching that type of thing. It's not a competition. It's not a competition until it becomes the competition. Even the actual the way that it's I suppose you have the way that you have to qualify for each for especially the Euros. It's like you've got the top two teams for two very good teams, two very good European teams, and then the rest are such a chasm. It's an absolute shit show. And in what way do UEFA want to combat the World Cup? By putting 350 million teams into the next World Cup. So basically, cram all the football into the calendar that as much as you can, international wise. Make as much money of each country. Use the club's players, and then what we'll do is we'll set up these competitions for it. And a lot of it's just stupid. An example, just past summer, the Club World Cup actually worked out very well in the end. The first few games, first few rounds were an absolute joke. It's like you're talking maybe 20 people at a game. Nobody wants to watch a team from like an Australian team or a New Zealand team that are made up of welders and carpenters. Yes, it's a dream for them to go out and play against the top team. But the reality is, if you're getting beat 7 and 8, or should you really be at the Club World Cup when the likes of a Liverpool didn't get there? And you're talking about sport and heritage as much as I hate them. United, you're talking about a sport and heritage. Man United, one of the biggest clubs in the world, they weren't there. But you're taking bricklayers and farmers from New Zealand to play in it. It's an absolute mess, and FIFA and UEFA are corrupt as fuck, and they're just trying to get as much money out of the fan as they can, all the while taking our players, and for especially for the international duty thing, taking our players across the world, and then putting them at risk of injury, not just long flights, etc. To their, like, for example, Tanaka played 2 games in Japan. Had he been in Japan and had to play a couple of games elsewhere, like the travel time alone, the man's going to be knackered. But look, I digress. That is part of what I'm going to be talking about anyway, in relation to what I spoke about yesterday. And what pissed me off yesterday was we were back to Daniel Farke's waffle. I am a massive. I need to caveat everything here that what I say. I'm a massive Daniel Farke fan. Nobody can deny he got us 90 plus points in his first season. Got us to Wembley, the final of the promotion playoffs. We won the league last season with 100 points. Second best defense. Oh, best attack. We can do all that. We can talk about that. But he has got to change his. He's got to change his media interviews. His media interviews are piss poor. I can say a number of things about them. He just waffles. He takes 10 minutes to answer a 1 minute question. Why? Why does he always go round the houses? If I am trying my best to support the manager. If there's obviously quite a bit of the fan base that don't actually like Farke. If I'm feeling like this, how are they feeling? How angry are they listening to him after a game or before a game or in the pressers? It's not good. Farke came out. I'm gonna go into this before I do any of the players. He came out, veiled threats to Harry Gray. Harry Gray went on Instagram. I think it was Instagram. Blacked out his account. Leeds aren't linked to it. Does that mean anything? Probably not. I hope not. But then Farke does his media. The media, he's talking about hopefully having good news and all the rest, and not getting ahead of the good news and all this shit. I don't care. Look, I want Harry Gray to sign a deal. I want him to be here because I think he's a top talent. I don't give a shit, Daniel, about us signing other players to contracts. Get Harry Gray over the line. Pull your head out of your ass. Your track record with our young players is not good. It's not, and nobody can dispute that. He's fell out with players, and we can talk about Charlie Cresswell. Was he good enough? Is he good enough? It doesn't matter. He fell out with Charlie. He fell out with Charlie's dad. Or Archie went. That was probably out of his hands. There's a number of players who have gone from our club, and it's probably due to some of them did come out and say they weren't happy about the treatment. Ramazani obviously didn't want to leave Leeds, but he's gone. Mateo Joseph's got an issue with the manager. Willie had an issue, it's all good now, but Willie did have an issue with the manager, we know that. Something's not good about his man management style there. And it scares me a wee bit, because when you're talking about Harry Gray and players that young, you're either going to make them or break them or lose them. Sorry about that. We were badly interrupted there. It is what it is. And again, I've just knocked it off. I don't care anymore. I'll just keep going. Right, I'm gonna move on. Players. He came out for Rodon as well. That concerned me. He really went for Rodon. Totally uncalled for. Best defender at the club last season. Best defender at the club the season before, and he went for him. Why? I don't get it. Moving forward, keeper Perry back potentially. He's not far away. For me, if Perry is back and he's fit, he plays. I love what Darlow's done. Darlow's come in, done well. For me, Perry starts. I just think there's levels to the game. Willie out, hernia, whatever. It's probably a good thing in the long run that he did it now, because over time, it's just where I'm feeling it, because obviously we're missing Dan, although he's a wee bit ahead of schedule. What I'm sort of getting angry because of the 49ers, we're missing Willie and Dan. Had we went and bought Wilson or any other fucking attacking player on the wing, then we'd be okay. But no, I have no faith in the 49ers going into this January window, by the way, and it scares me, because I hear other YouTubers talking about PSR and how we're close to PSR and all the rest, and I can't understand for the life of me, how the fuck we're close to PSR. We spent just over 80 million when you take into consideration what we took in and what has went out. Now we're in the Premier League. This is the biggest TV deal the Premier League has ever had, ever. So the money that we will be taking in this season will be huge. We invested 120 million into the club over the summer. We made massive money in terms of we took in the most money in the entirety of European football last season because of our transfers out of the club. If we're close to PSR, there's something seriously, seriously wrong at board level at the club. There's something not right. And at some point, somebody has to come out and not only discuss how wrong they went in the window before, but also how badly they're running the club. Now, there is the other side of it. Have we do the 49ers have got a lot of criticism in the past about putting all their eggs in the one basket and not going into the transfer window in January last year, for example. I'm hoping that that's exactly what they've done this year. They're going to put another 30, 40, 50 million in to the January window and strengthen. I think we're going to have to. Because, on top of James and Willie being out, Okafor apparently has an abductor issue. And apparently, I think Farke said something about his workload. And my head was about to go. I was like, the man's been off for 2 weeks. What load has he got? Like, surely we have to be looking at how are we training these boys? How are we training these people? We have got so many wingers. We got to wrap people up in cotton wool. DCL and the match are both injury prone. Okafor, we know he's injury prone from his previous clubs. Willie's always good for a couple of injuries a season. Dan James is good for a few injuries every season. Ampadu's good for injuries every couple of. Yeah, he does come back quick, but again, he's good for injuries. This is where it concerns me about the 49ers not investing. You've invested in players more in hope than in strategy. The hope that they can become the 30 and 40 million pound players that they once were, or we know they can be, rather than ignoring their. You went and got the match for nothing. You went and got DCL for nothing. DCL can be a 40 million pound player again, but right now he's probably 15, 20. And he's injury prone. We need to wrap these boys up in cotton wool from now to January, and the 49ers better be on it that we are bringing players in on the 1st of January. This is why I did bring up the point that I think personally we should be changing our formation, which we won't do. We know that. I think we should go 3 at the back. I think Bijol has to come into the team. The man played for his country, kept 2 clean sheets. He hasn't played a minute of football for us, and I have seen total inadequacies from Pascal Struijk this season, which concerns me because there were times last season that if I had her, I was pulling it out. You know what I mean? And if you're thinking of dropping Rodon over Pascal Struijk, there's something seriously fucking wrong with your head. Pascal Struijk, if he doesn't come out for Bijol, I think they have to play together. So if the manager's brave, he makes that decision. It's as simple as that, and he's got to make that decision. I would do it in this game purely because I don't think we have enough. If you're concerned Okafor can't last the game, that means you have no Okafor to start, no Willie to start, no James to start. That means your 2 wide players would be Harrison and Aronson with 0 replacement on the bench. To me, you've got to change it up. I would go 3-5-2. I would go Gudmundsson, Bogle on wing backs, and I would play Namachi behind DCL. I would play three at the back, Bijol strike, and Roto, and then I would play the normal three in midfield. But what I would do is I would push Longstaff moving further forward, and I play direct and get the balls in the box. I'm playing the match off DCL and just target them. And then if Okafor can play, bring him on. If Aronson has recovered from the amount of minutes he spent in the plane, you can bring him on. Not that I'm a fan. Jack's the same. Jack can cover a wing back as well, just to say. There 3-5-2. I think if you play that way, you can alternate into the 4-3-3 as well. But the players we have, but we have to win the game before we go defensive, because like the other thing is Farke pissed me off about was the fact that he turned around and he said that he doesn't believe that, oh, we didn't beat Burnley last season yet we won the league. It's not a must win. It's a fucking must win. Let's be honest. It's a must win. If you're going into the Burnley game and you're telling the fans that this is not a must win, then you're in cloud cuckoo land. Burnley last season were the best team in the league that we were going to face, or one of the best teams in the league. This season, they are ultimately going to be one of the worst. It's a must fucking win. It has to be. You've got to win the game. It's as simple as that. There's no two ways about it. So Daniel, less you're bullshitting. Stop already. If he comes up with a 0-0 or a 1-1 and thinks it's acceptable, it's not. If it's a good performance, fine. But let's be honest. If we go into the West Ham game with 11 points and we win that game, that would be 14 points. If we win the West Ham game, it'll be 14 points in 9 games. That's 1.5 points per game. Nobody can argue with Daniel Farke at that point. Now, we have 4 big games coming up after the international break. The next one, we've Aston Villa, Chelsea, Liverpool, Man City. Not in that order, but realistically, there's one game there that we can probably think we have a chance of winning. The rest, there's no chances about it. Cricket's keeping it down, keeping it tight, trying to nick a point. If you can't nick a point, just don't get beat by much. But I think Daniel Farke's job rests on the next 4 games, next 5 games. If we don't do well and we go into those in the next 5 games, and we go into the Chelsea, Man City, Liverpool games, and we get hammered, he's gone. And I'm a Daniel Farke supporter. And that'll bring us into the 14th of December. That's how quickly the season's going to move forward. This is why this Burnley game, Daniel, is a must win. Looking forward till the actual game tomorrow. People say Burnley are in trouble and all. Look, Burnley actually have had a difficult start to the season. Yes, they've had 4 points. We've got 8 points. But their actual performances, if you remember, to the Liverpool game and all the rest, they've been really unlucky, and they've played quite well. They've lost 5, they've drawn 1, and they won 1. I think the one game they did win was against Sunderland. So, but I watched that game and they were by far and away the better side that day. They put Sunderland to the sword, and Sunderland were on the crest of a wave that day. I personally think Sunderland have come out of the blocks far too heavy, far too quickly. I don't think they're anywhere near as good as people think they are. They're going to fall off a cliff. Especially, I think the players that they have are very combative and very good, but eventually quality will have to shine, and I don't think their midfield is that quality. So I think they will start to fall off, and they're losing up to 7 players to the African Cup of Nations. We play them on the 27th, I think, of December. We play them then, and I think they're going to lose 5 to 6 players, if not all of their players, to the African Cup of Nations then. So we hopefully will have got them at a good time. Look, the reality is we're sitting with 8 points. They're sitting with 4 points. they're playing a lot better than what people think they are. They've got a couple of issues whenever it comes to team news. Um, if they're one of the strikers, can't remember. Lyle Foster, out with he's not out, but he's had to return home from international duty with a dead leg. Anybody can tell you, dead leg, it can go like that, or it can linger. And the likelihood is, if he's had to come home from international, it's lingering on. It's not a good sign. And if he does start up front, well then, I'll be perfectly honest with you. I'm not afraid of Burnley's forward line. I'm more concerned about our attack. Tanaka, Ampadu, he's fine. Tanaka, the main thing for me, I don't think Tanaka starts anyway, but Tanaka is probably out of the four in the midfield due to flights, etc. I don't think he's in the conversation to start. If he is, for fuck's sake, but I'm hoping Brendan doesn't start. I'm hoping if he does stick to the 4-3-3 with start Okafor and Harrison. I don't think he does. I was very impressed with Harrison. Yes, it's easy to mock up a video and stick it on. I'm in Malaga or wherever the hell he was whenever he was on holidays there, and he's personal trainer and all. Look, he's there. He's trying to win hearts and minds. He's putting the effort in. Reward him. Give him a start. But if you look at the Burnley lineup, like possible lineup, you've got Dubravka, quality keeper, Walker, quality defender, maybe lost a bit of pace. Twanzebe, Esteve, Cullen, Jaden Huntley. I heard possibly might have a bit of a knock. I don't know if that's true or not. But whenever it comes to ourselves, I think if we look after ourselves, we beat Burnley handily. I'm not too bothered about that, but don't underestimate them either, because they will sit and they will counter us, and they've got quick wingers. I don't think we saw the best of Jaden Anthony at Leeds, and I think Jaden Anthony has showed in the Premier League that he has a bit about him. So we would be best not underestimate Jaden Anthony. Not afraid of him, but don't be underestimating the man. I personally believe we win this game. I think we win 3-1. I think Burnley score, but I think we win 3-1. There's something to be said. Last season, Burnley, we never beat Burnley. Burnley came to Leeds, and they won. And it was a shit game. And then we drew with them away. I think we drew away. And then yeah, it is what it is. I don't really care about history and all. I think it was something like 2016 is the last time we did. Is it 2016 the last time we beat them? But then we've been in different leagues and all that jazz. Couldn't give a shit about all that. Just go out, get the 3 points, move on. At this point in time, we gotta go out and get points. We have 4 games before the next international break. That's all we do. We look at the next 4 games, forget about everything else after that. We'll deal with them as they come. The next 4 games are big. The next 2 games specifically, direct rivals at the minute. You've got Burnley, West Ham. I personally believe we beat Burnley, and I think we can beat West Ham. We're at home against. Are we home against West Ham? I think we are. I think we can beat West Ham. I don't care if we're home or away against them. They're not good. You take Jared Bowen. They've a couple of big, strong men, but so do we. I don't think we've anything to fear in the next 4. It's after that. But we've got to get there first. Like, anyway, I've been rattling on for ages. Like, comment, subscribe, do all that jazz. Hopefully you've enjoyed the video, and I'll see you all later, and thanks for watching. Racel1918.